We're going to look now at mass elements. So we're going to look at a situation which is called mass floors. We're going to be able to use a mass element and create a floor. Now that's kind of interesting for us because let's first of all turn on our mass elements here. So let's go up to massing and hit show mass, and you'll see these here shown. If you click on the first one, you'll notice here that in properties, you end up getting width, height, and depth. And then in the other area here, right under where it says mass floors, you'll notice grayed out is some information. One bit of information is missing, which is the gross floor area. Take a look at the in-place family, and you'll see that it's the same result. We want that number. So in order to be able to get that number, what we're going to do is create what's called a mass floor. So let's pick the box family first. And we're going to come up here and click on mass floors on the Modify Mass tab. Click on it, and you're going to get this dialog box. We're going to create one just for level 1, and just click on that, and then hit OK. Now you'll notice that it has changed a little bit. Notice that it's a little bit more of a purpley color than it was before. Let's go over to In-Place Mass, and we will go to Mass Floors here and do the same thing for him too. So they both look the same, and when you click on one and you go over to the properties, you'll notice that gross floor area now shows up. Let's take a look at the In-Place Family Mass, and you'll see it too has some square footages. So that's kind of useful in putting it together in a schedule for a block plan. Okay, so that's method 1. I'm going to just back this up a little bit by coming up here and doing an undo. Because the other thing I want to show you is that not only can you use the tab menu, but when you click on either one of these guys, in place or box family, you'll notice here that over on properties, there is mass floors, and there's what's called edit. If you click on that button, you can also create a mass floor right from properties and do something along that nature. So they're both basically the same. So let's take a look at them in 3D. Come up to the toolbar up here and go to default 3D view. And you'll notice that they now have a mass element, which shows basically a floor. Let's come over here to Visual Styles, and we'll change that to Shaded. And then Detail Level, just make sure that is on Fine so we can see these things a little bit closer. One of the unique things that you can do when working with mass elements, as far as a designer is concerned, is that this floor can also contain a material. And we're going to play with that right now. We're going to change basically the first one here, which is this mass box. And we're going to do this in 2 ways. What we're going to do, first of all, is click on the mass box. And what we're going to do is we're going to come up here on the properties, and you will notice that there is a materials, mass material default form here. Go ahead and click on this. There's a little button right here. And what it will do is it'll bring up the material browser. Now, I already have some things in here which are called like block offices. So I'm going to come in and pick this material and press OK. And I'm going to click out, and you're going to notice that that element now is completely magenta in color. Let's take a look at doing this one here, which is the in place. This method, by the way, works either way. This next method, what we're going to do is we're going to select the in place mass, and then I'm going to come up here to Paint, which is off of the Modify Mass ribbon, and click on it. And I get into my material browser, and in here I'm going to pick block offices too. Now, here's the trick. You have to be kind of careful with this because this gets tricky. One of the things that you're going to have to do is cycle through everything to make sure you actually get the mass floor. So I'm going to hit Tab, and I'm going to wait to make sure that I see basically that mass floor show up here. And you'll see here I tabbed actually twice and was able to get it. It says mass floor. I'm going to click on it, and I now have the mass floor colored. So I'm actually in pretty good shape there. I'm going to hit Modify, and then I'm going to go to the project browser and back to Floor Plans Block Diagram. And you can see here that both of them look a little bit different. Okay, this one looks solid. This one basically is the floor. So one of the things that you can do when you're developing a block diagram is use these mass elements and then go ahead and colorize them. You can use any kind of coloring scheme that you want, whether you want to identify offices versus conference rooms versus lobby areas. But it's maybe a good way to graphically come up with an idea as far as where things go on the space plan.